start with the first question. The first question is, why is L'Oreal, and how did L'Oreal become the biggest beauty products company in the world? In other words, is it inevitable that a French company would be the biggest? How did you beat out the American companies? And what would you say is the secret ingredient to L'Oreal's success to become by far the biggest beauty products company in the world?
It's a good question. First, we are not, many companies in the beauty world are not French. In fact, we are almost the only one in the top 10. Many beauty companies are American or German or Japanese. So it's not, you don't need to be French to be successful in beauty. It would be easier, but it's not the case. I think that the reason why this company became number one is that we always had a conviction that the only way to satisfy consumers is to offer them the best quality. Best quality, best innovation, and in order to do that, to invest more than anyone else in R&D.
All right, so as archaeologists have discovered over the years, if you go back several thousand years, there was cosmetics and other beauty products in Egypt and other places in the Middle East. What are we doing to make people more beautiful today than they did thousands of years ago? The products are better?
Many things, I think so. L'Oreal didn't exist many thousand years ago. But maybe you don't know that, in fact, the first beauty product that were discovered 100,000 years ago. So 100,000 years ago, men and women started to use, a kind of makeup, a kind of beauty treatments. So it's a long story. And obviously, you're right, the products of today are much better than probably.
Were they sold at department stores, or where did people buy those? We don't know. So,
yeah, they were kind of Flintstone department store. Or
okay. So I assume it was mostly for women in those days. Is that right?
Today?
No, in the 100,000 years ago or 5,000 years ago.
I was not there, but...
okay.
I'm not sure, by the way. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that maybe on the contrary. At that time, maybe both men and women were using colors,
okay, well, let's talk about the beauty industry today. The way I would describe it as one of the products that you have and one of the areas is cosmetics. Cosmetics is designed principally to make principally women more than men, I would say, but their face look better than it would without it. Is that right?
Yeah, and by the way, you know that we just use cosmetics, the two of us.
But it didn't work for us.
I should not say that, maybe, but...
But okay, so I'm not an expert in cosmetics. It may be hard for people to believe, but I went yesterday to a store to buy some of these cosmetics.
Thank you very much.
And they're very good products. And I went in and I was amazed at how many different products there are. So let's talk about cosmetics for a moment.
Yes.
The best-selling single cosmetic, is that lipstick?
Yeah, but you have lipsticks, you have foundations, you have mascaras, you have powder, blush, you have a vast collection of products. And if you want really to look beautiful, to be beautiful, you need to use all of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
And
we can give you a special training.
Well, what's the theory behind lipstick? I mean, why women are trained now to kind of 10 times a day or more to put this on their lips. What does it really do for them, do you think?
It's magic. I mean,
makes them feel better.
Ask them.
Okay.
And they will tell you.
Okay. So, all right, you have lipstick, and the second best-selling, what is that?
Foundation.
Foundation.
Foundation, very important to have an even tone, to look great. Mascaras, very important too. Brows, new trend, extremely important. Blush, all type of things.
Okay, so
come whatever you want. And,
now, it is said by some people, not me, that cosmetics are relatively expensive compared to the manufacturing cost, but so much of the money is in the advertising and the packaging. Is that a fair comment?
No.
No.
Not at all. No, in fact, you know, when you manufacture a great product, we have a few here, a beautiful, what is that? You know, Urban Decay. Congratulations for your choice, by the way. So a pencil or whatever, you really have a value in the products. And then some brands don't even advertise. For example, Urban Decay doesn't do any advertising. Kiehl's doesn't do any advertising. So it's...
So you don't think it's the advertising and packaging is really that disproportionate cost of
No, and I
product?
I can guarantee that at L'Oréal, we always believe that the most important thing is again, the quality and the superiority of the product.
Now, cosmetics are mostly worn, I think, by women compared to men, but that's changing. What would you say of your customer base? Your cosmetics are 90% bought by women for women and 10% by men for men?
If we say cosmetics is makeup, no, definitely it's a woman market.
Okay.
The makeup for men is still very, very small.
And
I hope it will grow because it will be a great new market, but still very small.
But men buying cosmetics for women, that's a small percentage because it's too hard for them to figure out what.
Yeah,
Okay.
also.
All right, okay. So let's go to the next kind of thing. You had one was cosmetics. A second thing is lotions or skincare.
Yeah.
And this is a growing area because people are aging and they want to have fewer wrinkles or the appearance of fewer wrinkles. Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So why do you think?
But not only, you know, it's also to moisturize your skin, to feel better with your skin, to look better. It's not only to prevent aging. It's also just to take care every day of your skin, as you should.
Okay, so, but the lotions, therefore, are not really designed to make you look wrinkle-free because that's hard to do, but it's to make your skin better, I guess you'd say.
No, but you know, if you use regularly a good skincare, L'Oréal skincare, for example, you will definitely prevent appearance of wrinkles, aging. It's proven.
Okay, I'll have to try that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, all right, so that's a third thing is, I guess, hair color.
Yeah.
And it seems that for many thousands of years, people have wanted to dye their hair. As I told you earlier, my hair is really dark. I dye it gray, so I look a little bit more mature.
Great color.
Right. But is it more women that dye their hair historically? 98% women are doing the hair dyeing and 2% men or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. It depends where. In some countries, men dye a lot their hair. If you look at pictures, for example, of the Chinese Communist Party, you know, they are all totally dark hair.
I thought they just don't go gray there. No? No?
I think they are using a few products too.
Okay, so in respect to hair dye, and we mentioned this, with respect to women, when they're wearing hair dye, and they change their hair a bit frequently sometimes, it's hard to tell whether it's really their natural color or maybe not. With men, when they wear hair dye, I can tell right away. Why is that?
But because they don't choose the right brand. You know, if...
Okay. All right.
No, it's true. You know, if you use a good L'Oréal brand, honestly, you will not see the difference.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the fourth thing I'd like to talk about, which is perfume. Perfume has been around for...
Ever. Yeah.
And you sell perfumes?
Yes, of course. We are #1 in the world.
Now, perfumes are made from flowers and a whole bunch of other organic materials. Is it really changed over the thousands of years and what is in perfumes? And
yeah, absolutely. The composition of the fragrances has really evolved, and now the most sophisticated fragrances are made of hundreds of different ingredients. They are very sophisticated, absolutely.
So when you're doing a perfume now, is it designed mostly for women? In other words, perfume is bought 90% by women and 10% by men for women, or you don't know?
You like statistics. So, in fact, the fragrance market is pretty well split. You know, I think in the US, for example, it's 60-40, something like that, or 65-35. So 65% is for fragrance for women, clearly, and 35% for men. And the the products are pretty different.
Okay. I notice when I go into a department store, which I don't do that much, but when I do go into a department store, I notice the first thing that happens when I go into department stores, I smell the fragrance of perfumes and so forth, and everything in cosmetics is always on the first floor of a department store. Why is that?
But first, because you know, beauty products bring traffic. So department stores or other stores, you know, for them it's a great opportunity to bring people to their store. And when they enter the store, they are at the beauty space, and it's a great business opportunity. Okay. And secondly, why it smells fragrance? Because people are testing. Okay. People are testing the products, and of course it smells great. So you should go more often to a department store. It's a great place to be.
Right after this, I'll probably go back to another one. So let me ask you, right now when people go into department stores and they want to buy perfume or cosmetics or something, are there different grades? In other words, the more expensive products, they are located in department stores, or are they in, where are the best, most expensive products that you have? Are they sold in department stores, or?
Yeah, they are sold in department stores. You know, we could spend a lot of time on department stores, but you have different grades of department stores. Right. You have the specialty stores, you have the department stores. So okay. The most expensive brands would be in the most exclusive department stores.
What about online? Do you sell a lot of your products online?
Yeah.
Is that a big part of your business now?
Yeah, it's growing very, very fast. You know, it was almost nothing 5-6 years ago. And now, depending on the countries, it can be between 5, 10, even 20 or 30%.
Are there certain countries where, let's say, cosmetics, perfumes, hair dye, skin lotions are sold more frequently than in other countries? Is it the United States where people, as a percentage, use more of it than they do in Europe or in Asia?
In fact, it depends. Every part of the world has a difference. For example, in the US, people use a lot, women use a lot of makeup. In Europe, they use a lot of fragrances. And in Asia, they use a lot of skincare. So there are some specialties right. Across the world.
So let's say young girls, when they like to be like their mothers, they want to wear cosmetics and so forth. Do you have a daughter?
Yes,
and
but she's not...
I know she's
not teen anymore.
Not a teenager, but what age would you say is appropriate to say to a daughter, you can now wear makeup? When your daughter was growing up, did you say at the age of, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, you can wear makeup, or?
When she wants. Anyway, we are not advertising to young girls, but you know, they are free, and these products are perfectly safe. They are perfectly okay, so when they want to use the products from their mothers, they can.
Okay. So today, let's talk about L'Oreal itself.
Yeah.
Where did the name come from?
Let me tell you the story. It's very simple. In fact, the L'Oreal was created in 1909 by a guy called Eugène Schueller, who invented the first safe hair dye. And he created the product and sold the product to hairdressers. And with this hair dye, very, very quickly, they created a new kind of hairstyle called L'Oréal. L'Oréal, you know, it's, I don't know how you say that in English. It's what the saints have on top of their head. And so they created this hairstyle, and he found the name nice, and then he twisted a little bit, and it became L'Oréal.
Okay, so it started as a hair dye company, and then it got into other cosmetics and other
yeah, but it took 100 years. You know, for 50, 60 years, it was only hair dye, hair care, and then skin care, then makeup, then fragrances. It took a lot of time.
Hey, the company is based in France, but your biggest market is at the United States?
Yeah. France, in fact, the business in France is still very small. Enfin, it's now very small. It's 7% of the total. The US is the #1 market, at least 25%. And now Asia is becoming very strong too. Asia, China will certainly become bigger and bigger. Of course, there are billions of consumers there.
So today, as the CEO, your job is to travel around the world. I assume you're traveling all the time, meeting your customers.
Yeah.
So let's go through how you came to L'Oreal. You grew up in
Paris.
And did you say when you were a young boy, I want to run L'Oreal someday?
Not really. In fact, when I was really young, 15 years old, I was trying to understand what type of job I would like to do. And I had 3 ideas. One was to be a psychiatrist. How do you say that? Yeah, psychiatrist.
A psychiatrist?
Yes.
Psychiatrist.
Difficult for a French.
You didn't miss anything there.
Or a movie director.
Oh, that's tough too. Okay.
Or business. And at the end, I chose business. But the funny thing is that in my job every day, I do a little bit of the 3. Because because marketing is about, you know, understanding really the desires and dreams and wishes of the people. It's a lot about the movie direction too, because you create images and everything. So it's, I'm pretty happy. In fact, I was able to put all together.
Well, when you went to school, I think you took a finance class, I read, and the professor said, in effect, you're very good at marketing, not finance. Is that right?
Yes, yes, yes. I know that you're a finance expert, but I have to admit that I'm very bad in finance. So I chose the finance major because it was trendy at the time. But every business case we had about finance, I always recommended to change the advertising. So, so the guy said at the end, you know, Jean-Paul, you're really gifted, but not for finance. Do marketing.
All right, so how did you come to L'Oreal? You graduated from college?
Yeah, so I went to business school, and at the end of the business school, in fact, once I knew that I was made for marketing, I really looked for the most interesting marketing. And I found, and I still think, that beauty is what I call the supreme art of marketing. Because it's really about, of course, understanding all the technicalities, but it's also about intuition, perception, creation. It's the most interesting marketing.
All right, so you got a job, you got an interview, and you got a job at L'Oreal. And after a brief period of time, they said, you're now in charge of Greece.
Yeah, it didn't arrive like that. You know, it's
it
was a bit more shaky than that. You know, first I started as a salesman, because at L'Oreal you always start, you know, as a salesman for 1 year, 1.5 years. Then I did some marketing finally, but I was a bit turbulent, you know. And once I was called by the big head of HR at L'Oreal at that time, so I was a bit afraid because I thought that maybe they were going to fire me or something. And the guy said, Mr. Agon, we want you to go to Greece and take over the subsidiary as general manager. So I was extremely, proud, happy, surprised.
You were 24 years old.
24 years old, so I went there. And then I realized, number one, that the business was extremely tiny. Number two, in a terrible state. But number three, more importantly, that in fact, the people at L'Oréal had proposed a job to almost everyone, and that no one wanted to take it. Because they were not crazy, I was the only one a bit...
So you did the job?
Yes, I loved it.
And you must have done well because you got promoted. What did you do next?
After that, I came back from... I spent 5 years in Greece, I loved it. And really what's interesting is that I really learned everything in Greece. I learned marketing, sales, human resource, finance. That's why, by the way, my finance is still not that good. And then I came back, and I became a general manager of the L'Oréal Paris brand in France.
All right. And later you were put in charge of Asia?
Yeah. Then after that, I was in charge of an international brand, and then I went to Germany, and then after Germany, I went to Asia, started all the subsidiaries in Asia, in China, Korea.
Now, when you went to China, for example, people were using cosmetics and other kinds of beauty products. They just weren't using L'Oreal. Is that right?
At that time, no, because we had no subsidiary, no team, nothing. And by the way, it was a bit late because we started everything in '97, which was a bit late. Right. Many competitors was already there. And so we started with a team of 10 people in an apartment. And I'm very happy to say that now we are #1 in China. And China is a major part of our growth and business.
And then after China and Asia, you came to the United States. You were put in charge of the United States?
Yes.
And how many years did you live in New York?
Yeah. In fact, I live very close from here. I live at the corner of First Avenue and 88th Street.
Okay. And was your English perfect then, as it is now, or?
Thank you for the perfect. For example, psychiatrist is still difficult for me. I have a few words that are still a bit difficult.
That's pretty good.
But I'm working on it.
So you lived here for how long?
Sorry?
How long did you live in New York?
5 years.
5 years.
In fact, I just arrived. Just arrived 2 days before September 11. As I said, you know, I told my wife before I came here, you know, we'll go to New York, it's fantastic, you'll love it, it's safe, it's quiet, it's easy. And in fact, we arrived the weekend before, and the kids started at school the day before. It was a Monday, and September 11 happened on Tuesday.
So you later moved back to France, and you became the CEO in 2006.
Yeah.
And the chairman and CEO in 2011.
Yeah.
And since you've been the CEO, the stock is up 200%.
More.
More.
Sorry.
Okay.
400%.
400%.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good. And
it's not finished.
okay. And the market value of your company today is about $140 billion.
Yeah.
What was it when you took over?
4 times this.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about some of the things you did. Now, one of the things that you've been very focused on is gender equality.
Yeah.
And of all the companies in the world, L'Oreal's been voted a number of times as the #1 company in the world
Yes.
on gender equality. What did you do, and how did you win these awards?
Well, you know, number one, it's pretty natural for a beauty company that really create products for women to make sure that women within the company are treated totally equally with men. So that has always been a priority for us. But also we really did what it takes to get there. And today, you know, 2/3 of the employees at L'Oréal are women, and it's 50% of the board, it's 1/3 of the executive committee, it's 50% of all the management committees. And so we are really doing everything it takes.
Okay, let's talk about sustainability.
Thank you,
Okay.
thank you.
On sustainability, that has been another major push of
Yeah.
yours. What are you trying to do on sustainability, and what are you trying to do in terms of your carbon footprint?
You know, I have a simple ambition. I just want us to be also the #1 there. And we have been recognized. I'm very happy to say that yesterday in Europe, the Carbon Disclosure Project, the CDP, which is really the authority in terms of environment, has awarded L'Oréal for the 3rd year in a row the AAA recognition, A for forest, for water, for carbon impact. And so we are also on this matter recognized as the #1 company in terms of sustainability.
Okay, and what did you specifically do? What are you trying to have less packaging or use less fossil fuels?
Yeah, in fact, we took some very strong commitments in 2013 in terms of reduction of carbon emission, reduction of water use, reduction of waste, reduction of packaging, on all aspects, and we are really delivering on these commitments. So pretty ambitious, but I have to say that the teams are extremely motivated at L'Oréal. The teams in the labs, in the factories, in marketing, everywhere, in every country, and all together we are able to do it.
One of your other pushes has been for strong ethics. Why is ethics so important to you?
In fact, I think I got this idea when I was here, when I was in New York.
Got ethics from New York when you were here. Right, okay, well, good.
Yeah, maybe.
Right, okay.
But the fact is, when I came back to France, when I took over as a CEO, I understood that ethics would be something very important for the future. And again, you know, I decided with the team that L'Oréal could be #1 in ethics. And also, thank you for talking about it. We were recognized last week as the #1 by Covalence, which is the NGO specialized in ethics, as the #1 company worldwide for ethics. So, and what's interesting, if I may say 2 words here, is that, of course, you know, if you think of L'Oréal, it's not that difficult for us to be a great company in terms of sustainability. Ethics is not really a problem in our industry. And gender equality also. But we could have said, okay, it's not difficult for us, so let's forget it and do something else. On the contrary, what we said, it's not that difficult, so let's be exemplary and let's be the #1 in the world.
Okay, so let's talk about some of your products, your brand names.
Yeah.
Now, do you have the L'Oréal brand name? Is that where you sell a lot of products under that name?
It's 25% of our sales. You know, we have 30 more brands, 35 international brands, and L'Oréal is just one of them. And in fact, it's the only brand that we didn't buy. It was the brand that we started with, and all the other brands that we have in the portfolio were bought at a certain time.
Right. So, for example, this is Lancôme. You bought that, and
yes.
And is that your upscale or not upscale? Or?
Of course, it's beautiful. Look, it's very upscale, and it's extremely successful. It's the #1 luxury beauty brand in the world now. So very successful.
All right. What
everywhere.
About now? There's another brand here, Urban Decay.
Yes.
Now that doesn't sound like a name for somebody that's going to say this is a great product. It's decay.
Yes.
Decay is not usually a word that means something people like. So why is Urban Decay a good name?
I agree. It's a bit surprising, but clearly it's not for the same consumers. The consumers who love Lancôme, they don't use Urban Decay. But you know, it's pretty edgy, it's pretty surprising, it's pretty disruptive. So there is a segment of consumers who love that.
And now Maybelline, you own Maybelline?
Yeah.
And where is that sold? Is that sold in department stores?
No, this is sold in drugstores, mass stores, Walmart, Target.
So like if some woman is in front of you and she's wearing Maybelline lipstick, could you tell it's not L'Oreal lipstick? In other words, can you tell the difference in the brands?
Not from far away, but...
Well, okay, I guess that's the point, though. Okay.
Especially if I can have access to the bag.
So you have all these products, and you're a man, so you don't use a lot of these products. Presumably your wife maybe uses some of these, but you don't use all these products. How do you make a judgment about whether it's a good product or not? Who actually makes these judgments for you?
The president of the brand. You know, we are pretty decentralized. We have an organization at L'Oréal where we are strategically concentrated, but operationally very decentralized. So there is for each brand a team, what we call an international marketing team, and there is a president for each brand. The American brands, by the way, are based in New York. So for Urban Decay, Kiehl's, Maybelline, Matrix, Redken, SkinCeuticals, etc. And each president of the brand is in charge of inventing the new products.
So they don't have to come to you to get each product approved? Or?
No.
And does your wife sample any of them for you, or no?
No, she couldn't try the thousands of products that we are launching every year.
Okay. So today, is modeling a very important thing? When models you use a lot of models to sell products. Is that a very big thing, to use famous people to use your products?
Not for all brands. Again, you know, it's very, very diverse. So for example, a brand like Lancôme would use great models like Julia Roberts, Penelope Cruz. Another brand like Urban Decay would probably not use the same type of models. And a brand like La Roche-Posay, which is a very fantastic brand also, doesn't use any model at all. So it's, we try also to have a great variety of type of brands, of type of business models, of type of marketing, in fact, to be able to offer to every woman the type of beauty she wants.
So I've noticed, like, you know, sometimes teenage girls, they want to use makeup and be like their mother, let's say. But I've also noticed that no matter how old a woman might be, she could be over 100, she's still using cosmetics and makeup and so forth.
Absolutely.
Do you observe that as well? Or?
Yeah. And by the way, it's a great opportunity because with the aging of the population, for the beauty industry and for L'Oréal in particular, it's fantastic because not only, of course, the longer you live, the longer you will use beauty products, but also the older you are, the more you need great quality products. And the L'Oréal products are the best.
So people are happier when they use your products?
Absolutely.
And the happiness quotient is very high?
No, but it's very important because we also are very convinced at L'Oréal that it's a great industry. You know, it's a great job. I mean, you make, by creating beauty products, you make people more happy. You make people have a better self-confidence, self-esteem. Okay. It's a very positive thing.
I noticed some of your other major competitors, I don't know if you want me to mention them, but other very good companies like Estee Lauder or let's say Unilever.
I heard about them. Yeah.
Yes. But the products that the CEOs are often men, and the people in charge of the beauty products are often men, even though they don't use the products. Does that strike you as somewhat unusual, or is that going to change in the future, you think?
Yeah, it's going to change. Of course, it's going to change. You know, it was at the beginning more men, and definitely, you know, in the next few years, women will take over. I mean, and certainly, maybe not in a very next future, but certainly a woman will become a CEO of L'Oréal.
So do you think anybody can spend too much money on cosmetics?
No, it's not expensive.
It's not possible.
No, that's also the good thing, is that the budget that is allocated to beauty products is very limited. It's between 2 or 3% of your income, so it's okay, it's fun, and it makes your life more beautiful. I think also it contributes a lot to your quality of life. I think it's a cheap way to improve really your quality of life.
By the way, the global economy is growing at maybe 3.5%, but beauty products are growing at 7 or 8%. So is that a good or bad thing? The beauty products are growing at a faster rate than the global economy is growing.
It's a very good thing. It's a very good thing, but you're perfectly right. I mean, the beauty market is really permanently growing faster than the GDP worldwide, which is good.
Now, there is a word that has been overused in beauty products and other areas called organic. People think if it's organic, it's healthier. Are your products organic, or does organic really mean it's healthier?
No, first, organic doesn't mean it's healthier, because every product is totally healthy, and for us, the safety of our product, the healthiness of our product is absolutely priority for all the brands and all the products. But some people prefer that. As you said, some people prefer organic formulas, some people prefer something else. So, and our job is just to offer to everyone what they want.
Right.
So we have brands that are more organic. If you take a brand like Garnier, for example, which is pretty well known in the US, with whole blends or Nutris, or they are more organic minded.
So what products do you have for people men who are in their 60s who don't want to look like they're in their 60s? What do you have for them?
Kiehl's.
Oh, really?
Kiehl's is fantastic. And Kiehl's is an American brand. We bought it.
What does it do for you?
Sorry?
What does it do?
You mean for me personally?
Well, for me. The product. Okay, so what about...
Everything.
All right, so today, you would say the industry's in pretty good shape, relatively speaking. It's not that controversial an industry, relatively speaking, compared to some other industries.
No, I think it's a very positive industry. It makes people happy, contributes to their quality of life. It's great.
Okay, so let's just talk about France for a moment, because Americans are always interested in France. We talked earlier, and like all French people, you take 4-week vacation. Is that a requirement to be French, to take 4 weeks? Because when you want to get somebody in the office in like August in Paris, you can never get them in the office. So what do you, how is that? Is that a custom or something?
It's mandatory.
Mandatory, you take 4 weeks off.
No, but it's a habit. But when I was here, I used to take 2 weeks vacation. And when I was in Asia, I think I didn't take any vacation. And when I came back to France, I thought that these French were crazy to take 4 weeks vacation. And I have to say that after a while, I like it.
It grew on you. Right. So now talk about your outside of the beauty products world. What do you do for relaxation? I assume you just don't go look at stores and beauty products. What do you do?
Not only. I do 2 things. First, I love traveling and discovering new countries, new regions. For example, every year I do a trip and I do a trekking somewhere in the world, Patagonia, or Australia, or Atacama Desert, everything. And I love also sailing in Greece.
You're a sailor.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you've been the CEO since I say 2006, chairman and CEO since 2011. So, but you're still young by my standards. So.
Thank you.
Do you have any plans to how long you want to stay and do this?
Yeah, I mean, it's, as I said, it's no taboo, no secret. I always said that I will pass the baton when I'm 65.
65.
So it will come.
And then what would you want to do? Would you go into government? Would you run?
Oh, no.
No?
That's surely not. So, no, maybe the board will ask me to continue as chairman, as my predecessor did with me. And I have to say that my predecessor was Lindsay Owen-Jones, and he was a chairman for 3-4 years when I started as a CEO, and I have to say that it was very helpful.
So
I think it's a nice way to do transitions.
So you know President Macron?
Yep.
So like when you're with President Macron and his wife, does she ever say, is L'Oréal product good one for me, or is this a good product? Do you have she ever ask for any beauty tips or advice?
I think I can say that Brigitte Macron loves the L'Oréal products.
Okay.
I'm serious. I was with her, in fact, last week, and
she had all L'Oreal,
said that.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you today, how do you think the U.S.-French relations are? You think they're good, bad? What would you say? How would you regard the general relationship between the U.S. and France?
I think the relation between French and American are excellent. At the political level, they may be a bit different, but I think it's not the most important. The most important is the quality of the relationship between the people.
So if you were...
You know, I had the experience when I was here in 2004. There was a time in 2004 when there was this, you know, this French bashing story with the freedom fries, etc. And even at that time, when the relationship in terms of political agenda were tough, the relationship at the people level were always great.
So for a lot of business people in France and other places, you're a role model. You've done a terrific job with L'Oreal. What would you say is the secret to being a good business leader? If somebody said, I want to be a great leader in business, what would you say it is that has made it possible for you to be a successful leader? And what were the traits that you kind of developed as you were growing that really helped you the most?
That I don't know. But I know that for me, the most important thing is to love what you do. You know, I was very lucky because when I joined L'Oreal when I was 21, after a few weeks, a few months, I knew that this company was made for me. You know, it was obvious. And when you feel like that, when you love what you do, when you're so happy to wake up every morning and do what you have to do, I mean, I think that after that, it's an easy journey.
Now, tomorrow, if you were to go into a store in New York, Bloomingdale's, for example, and you were to go to the beauty products area and you didn't like the way it was displayed or something, a L'Oreal product, would you say to the person, I'm the CEO of L'Oreal, and display it differently, or you wouldn't do that?
I don't know. It depends.
I
have a few friends of L'Oreal in the room, so
do they recognize you?
I don't want to tell them
when you go into a major store, that's
no.
nobody
I do it discreetly. I do it discreetly.
So okay.
I do it discreetly, but you know, if I have a good idea that could improve the way it looks, maybe I will share it.
So let me just ask you a final question before we have some questions from the audience. If you wanted to just capture for anybody watching what the essence of L'Oreal is, what would you want to summarize the essence of L'Oreal? What does L'Oreal mean to you? What does it stand for? Why is L'Oreal a great company, or why is it a company that you're proud of?
You know, I think it's a beautiful company. It's honestly beautiful people, great team, and I think that we have a beautiful mission to offer to all women and men around the world the best of beauty. You know, it's something that you want to do all the time. It's a great mission.
So do people always try to get free products from you? I mean, in other words, you know, lots of people say, I'm having a show, or we're having some charity thing, and we'd like some free products. Do you have a division that just decides whether you give free products out to various things or not?
You know, when they want free products from us, it means that they like them. So it's okay. We encourage that.
Okay. All right, here's some questions, if we could. Why don't we thank you very much for this, and I'm going to take some.
Thank you.
So,
thank you, David.
All right, here's one that I didn't think of asking. It's a very good question. What are your personal skincare routines, and how often do they change?
Kiehl's facial fuel, very good, skincare routine, and CeraVe for the body. But I will stay there for the rest.
Right. Now, one of the products, you often buy new products. One of them that you bought was the Body Shop.
Yeah.
And then you sold it to a Brazilian group.
Yeah.
Why did it not work?
I think that because the Body Shop was a bit an exception to our policy of acquisition. Usually we buy small brands at the early stage of development, and then we grow them around the world. And the Body Shop was already a large brand, pretty grown up, and we thought that we could transform it and reinvent it, but it was more difficult than we thought. So we did our best efforts, but we realized that it didn't work.
Okay. Another question is, there's been a lot of innovation in the world of color and makeup and skin care. What do you think is the next greatest disruption in the world of fragrances?
Wow, I don't know. I I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I think that maybe the next disruption will be what could we could see the individualized fragrance that could come one day, where everyone will be able to have its own his own fragrance made for him or her.
Really?
Yeah, why not? That's possible.
Right. Everyone is talking about how retail is dying and independent brands with direct relationships with their customers are on the rise. How is L'Oreal tackling this challenge?
Which one?
The challenge of having independent relationships, direct relationships with their customers. In other words, retail is dying is the premise of the question. And if it's dying, brands are developing direct relationships outside of the traditional retail.
First, I don't agree with the assumption. I don't think that retail is dying. I think that retail is under transformation, and that what we're going to see in the future will be a combination of what we call the offline, online. And this is the new trend, and I think that retail will be reborn with this new assumption.
Okay. With clean and non-toxic skincare and makeup on the rise as consumers become more aware of potentially harmful ingredients, how will L'Oreal adapt to this changing market?
But very easily, because there are absolutely no harmful ingredients in any L'Oreal product. You know, again, we have the largest R&D in the industry, and for R&D and for L'Oreal teams, safety of consumers has always been a top priority, so there is absolutely no harmful ingredients in any of our products.
Okay, and another question is, how is L'Oreal approaching e-commerce, especially with products that are difficult to market digitally, for example, color match foundations, perfume, and how do you compete with nimble, digitally native brands that are building engaged communities online?
Oh, but we compete very well. You know, for example, in China, e-commerce is representing, for example, for our mass products, almost 50% of the business. So the growth of e-commerce for the company has been tremendous. You know, globally speaking, our e-commerce has grown by 40% last year, which is much faster than the market itself, and it represents now more than 10% of our sales. So in fact, we are competing very well. And the surprising factor is that people said a few years ago or 2 years ago that big brands would suffer from this new digital and e-commerce story. And in fact, it's exactly the opposite that happened. In 2018, it was our best year ever in terms of growth for our big brands, for the L'Oréal, Maybelline, Garnier, Lancôme, Yves Saint Laurent, Giorgio Armani, Kiehl's, etc. Okay. So in fact, big brands on the contrary are getting more power from digital.
What's the best way to get a job with L'Oreal?
Call me.
Really? Right, well, that might be tough to get a hold of you, but okay.
No, very easy. You know, you can email me, and I look at my emails every day, and I answer them every day. Wow. Directly. So, and it's very easy. It's jean-paul.agon at l'oreal.com.
Well, suppose somebody wants not an entry-level job, they want a senior job. Maybe.
Whatever job.
Okay, so can you tell, if a woman comes close to you and she's got perfume on, can you tell if it's a L'Oreal brand? Or
perfume?
Perfume.
Yeah, normally yes. Normally yes.
Really?
Not always, but normally yes.
Okay, and if she's wearing, you know, cosmetics, you can pretty much tell if she's wearing a L'Oreal?
It's a bit more difficult. You have to get very close, which sometimes is a bit tricky.
So what is it that you're most proud of in your career? You've had a distinguished career. You've obviously grown the company in terms of its value enormously. Your shareholders are presumably very happy. What are you most proud of? Is it the profitability, the healthcare concerns you've expressed? What is it that you've most pleased about?
Honestly, I think that what you described before, the fact that beside the success in terms of market share, in terms of growth, profitability, dividends, everything, the fact that we became the #1 company in terms of gender equality, ethics, sustainability, I think it's a major step for L'Oréal. It is a complete new dimension to the company that didn't exist 10 years ago, and now it's here to stay. It's important for me.
So today, the products that you sell, which ones have the highest margin?
You know, you would be surprised because almost all of them have the same type of margin. It's very interesting. If you look at our report, you will see that the 4 divisions that we have more or less the same margin. The 4 regions in the world have more or less the same margin. That's also a secret of L'Oréal, is that our business model is very balanced. So we are able to really have a high margin because our margins are good, almost on all categories, all brands, all divisions.
So what makes you keep up at night? Is there anything that makes you nervous at night? You can't sleep because the world is troubled in certain areas relating to your company?
I think that my #1 strength is that I sleep very well.
Really?
I sleep 8 hours a night, and every night, and nothing wakes me up.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe it's not serious, but it's the truth.
Well, you're very fortunate to be able to sleep that long. So, okay.
I saw that Jeff Bezos.
Yes, I did interview him. He said 8 hours is what he needs a night, but you know, he's still younger. When he gets in his late 60s, I doubt if he'll be able to make it through the night sleeping without waking up. But okay, you never know. So I want to thank you very much for giving us an insight to what it's like to run a major beauty products company. And I want to thank you for all the advice you've given me about things I could do to look better. And congratulations on what you've done, and thanks for coming here to the 92nd Street Live.
Thank you for having me. It's a great honor for me. Thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you.